Hey, it's Central Valley Business. I'm your host, Steve Walling. My guest this segment, I'm welcoming back Don Meacham. Don, welcome back to the show.
Thank you very much.
He's had an incredible career in midget racing, which is he's going to tell us some of the stories from that. And then he's also an inventor. And his midget racing kind of helped him develop a need for an idea, and we'll get into that. So, Don, let's talk about your career in midget racing.
Okay. Can you see this picture?
Okay, we have some. There you go.
That's how we started. Short sleeve shirts, no roll bar.
Uh-huh.
I call my racing BC, before cages.
Before cage, yeah. You know, nowadays they got all that hardware that's built up, and they have special suits they wear and all that stuff. You're just one step more modern than Fred Flintstone and his rockmobile.
Here's a picture from Vallejo Speedway.
Oh, wait a second. Let's take a look at that. Hold that up just a little bit. All right. Okay. Now, it looks like, as I'm looking at that picture, you're doing a slide probably going into a turn, right?
Yes, it's a dirt track.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Get a little dirty racing on dirt tracks, don't you? Okay.
And here was a photograph taken at, what was it? San Antonio.
1967.
66.
66.
Yeah.
Man, you were a good-looking young man. What happened?
What do you mean were?
Racing has kept you young. I can tell by the looks. Okay.
This was fun.
So, and this is Parnelli Jones. Are you in the other car?
I'm in the other car.
Okay, the white car is Parnelli, and then it looks like the number one car would be Don.
And that was me passing him on the outside.
Oh, yeah, okay. So, back in the day, things were kind of crude and kind of rough, and you kind of beat yourself up a bit.
Quite a bit.
But before we get into beating yourself up, you've had a few awards and honors as a result of your career in racing, haven't you?
Right.
Tell me about it.
I got inducted into the National Auto Racing Hall of Fame.
National?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
You're that good?
Yeah. Well, look, I was running race with
There you go.
But anyway, what they do, they have a week-long race down there. It's Chili Bowl, they call it.
Uh-huh.
And about 300 race cars show up. And on Friday, they have a luncheon, and that's where you're inducted. And they usually induct 4 people. Uh-huh. And 2 of them were deceased. Andy Granatelli was the other one, but he was too sick to be there. Uh-huh. So I was the only one. Well, the first announcer tells all about your racing history and everything, what you did. And then they get you up on the stage, and the next guy puts the microphone in my face and, "Who was your favorite driver?" I said, "I was."
Yeah.
And guess who was sitting in the front row? Bobby Unser and Johnny Rutherford.
Oh, no kidding.
2 or 3 time winners.
Uh-huh.
I apologized to him later, though.
That's got to have been quite an adventurous career.
Yeah, it was.
And obviously you were successful at doing it, and that's got to be, in your heart you gotta, you did the good thing, right?
Yeah.
And that's great. But you beat yourself up doing this, didn't you?
Well, no, I was really quite lucky, most lucky one in the world. I was only upside down one time when there was a mix-up, a bunch of cars in the corner, and it was a dirt track, and I went over, bounced on its nose, right back on its wheels.
Whoa.
And in Florence, Kentucky, I did get hit in the face, and it broke this bone 7 or 8 places.
Really?
Yeah,
Looks like it's doing pretty good today.
Yeah. It was a long half-mile dirt track.
Yeah.
And I was running around in the middle. I wasn't doing too good. I anticipated the green flag, and I pulled out, and I passed everybody going in the first turn. Mm-hmm. And I hit it kind of wide, and Mount Canyon dropped underneath me, and something came off his left rear tire.
Yeah.
Broke my windshield, broke my flip shield. It still hit me. If it would have hit up here, it probably wouldn't be here today.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
but you were blessed.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. And after about 10 years of racing, 50,000 miles on the road about, a lot of dirt tracks and whatnot, it took its toll on my back.
Yeah.
And I ended up with 2 herniated discs, L4, 5S1.
Now, as a former doctor of chiropractic, I can tell you that's a pretty bad deal.
Yeah, yeah. And I was in pain so bad many times, laid on the floor, couldn't move. I got in the hospital and was in pelvic traction.
Right.
If you don't know what pelvic traction is, they put a belt around you here, ropes down over the foot end of the bed, then they tilt the bed up, and your body puts traction on your back, and I loved it. But it comes back within 3 or 4 days.
Yep.
And I was in that, and then I bought one of those inversion therapy tables, and I loved it too. But where can you go? You can't take it with you.
Right.
And I got to thinking, well, doggone it, there's got to be a better way to do this. So I thought about a bunch of things, and this is what.
And this is what you came up with.
That's it.
Look at this. There's 2 of them, so obviously we're going, and they look kind of like crutch pads. So I'm going to say one goes on each side, right?
Right.
But
And you
then we
notice
got
the word
these-
front?
What's that?
The word front?
What word front?
You've been on crutches. Most people have their arm get tingly.
Right.
I've got a 5-degree tilt, so the pectoralis major catches the most of the weight. So you don't have bother that
Awesome.
way.
And you figured that out. That's,
Yeah.
And now, you see, it looks like it's threaded here.
It's
And
for
that's,
adjustment.
that's so you can adjust them.
Right.
So, shorter guys like me can use them, and then I can share them with taller guys like you, right?
Yeah.
All right. And then
this-
they got a nice,
It's like a hockey puck, but it's
Yeah.
rubber and it won't slip.
there you go.
So you put one under each arm, and I tell everybody, and even in our website, the best thing you can do is to roll forward.
Just to roll forward.
And that lets the facet joints pull out.
It does.
Yeah.
And it allows the lower back to kind of traction
Yeah.
itself out. And you know, something else, Don, and again, as a former doctor, a retired doctor of chiropractic, when you do that rolling motion, when you come back, and you go forward and come back, it creates kind of a suction, a dynamic suction on
Negative pressure, I
on
call
the
it.
on the
Yeah.
disc itself.
That's right.
Negative pressure, right?
Yeah.
Which helps to open it up. And even for folks out there that haven't had the illustrious career of beating their back up on flat tracks, just normal day-to-day living as we get older can take its toll. I've looked at X-rays of what used to be a young man, as they've gotten closer to the age I am now, and their back looks like it's been pretty tore up, and they don't have anything in their life that would compare with what you're doing, and they got a lot of problems. So
Yeah.
you don't need to, my point is, you don't need to have come from some kind of a rough where you would feel like you're abusing your back. It can be anybody, and as we get older, and what a great tool. How'd you come up with this idea?
This idea?
Yeah.
Well, there was no other way to do it. The thing hanging upside down, they're $450,
Yeah.
and you can't put it in your car and take it with you.
No.
So you got to, and this will work anytime you're seated, anywhere. And they're so easy to carry around,
Yeah.
like that.
And are those $450 also?
500.
500. There you go.
No, we have them on our internet right now for $69.95.
$69.95. That's a heck of a deal.
Yeah.
If you got bad back pain, you'll pay almost anything to get relief.
Well, I went through my adult life being 6 feet tall. I'm now 5'10.5".
Yeah.
I have a lot of squash down.
Yeah, you do.
I have a.
But that happens to us.
Yeah,
I used to be
compression
6 feet tall too, and now
I
I'm
hear there's a new
5'7".
deal out though. They have they replace the disc with a piece of metal, slide it in there,
Yeah.
and Paul Fencer,
Yeah.
he's had that done, and he said, "Boy, that worked."
Worked. I'll be
gonna
darned.
see about-
Now see, I learned something from you because I wasn't aware of that, but I'm
Yeah.
not surprised. So, you say you got those on your website.
Yes,
What's your website, Don?
it's as simple as easy. It's seatedtraction.com.
Seatedtraction.com. If
Yes.
you'll see it's down there at the bottom of the screen. Now, if I go to that webpage, what am I going to find?
Oh, you're going to find a lot of information like what we talked about. There'll be race car pictures on there. I did a piece. We went out to what's the name out here, and did about a 15-minute deal.
Yeah.
It went on pretty good.
Okay.
And it turned out to be a pretty good website.
Did it?
Yeah.
Well, that's good.
And we just started it.
Yeah. Yeah. I think the last time you were on, I wasn't sure that you had it then.
Yeah, we had one, but the guy didn't know what he was
He's
doing,
doing.
and it didn't work us up to that.
Now we're at professional grade.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Lot
That's
better.
good.
So,
So, got to ask you, do you still get inside a midget every now and then?
Well, it's funny, that car that I did so well in, Don Edmonds is a very famous car builder,
Right?
and I didn't know that car was his first race car.
Oh, no kidding.
And when I went to Australia, it's normal you sell the car over
Right.
there. Well, a guy by the name of Steve Lewis had been looking for that car. I gave him phone numbers of people that I'd met in Australia, and he spent 21 years looking for that car. And he finally found it, but it was all, frame was all cut up and everything. So he got Don Edmonds to give him the plans of the car,
Right.
blueprints. And he had a guy in Oregon rebuild it.
Uh-huh.
And there was a group of guys, about 15 of us at my house this past week, and had that car there.
At your house this past week.
Yeah,
How great is that?
yeah, it was fun.
Yeah.
It
That's
didn't really
awesome.
look like when we got it, it had the wraparound windshield, but
Right.
when they first built it, it had just a little windshield.
Uh-huh.
And but it was kind of neat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's awesome, Don.
Yeah.
You know, it's a joy having you on just talking about racing. And we'll talk more about that, I'm sure, in the future. But what a great invention that you came up with
Yeah.
as a result.
I've given these to people. In fact, I was in a doctor's office one time with a middle-aged lady, so painful. And we put them on her, sitting down, and she goes,
Yeah.
pain goes away immediately.
And, you know, you can, like you say, you can use them pretty much anywhere that you're seated. I wouldn't recommend doing it while you're driving, but at most any other time. But you could probably do it too. Yeah. Well, we don't. Okay.
Do
Listen.
people know what traction is?
Yeah.
Should I explain it?
Well, traction nowadays they don't use the bed so much like that. They got these big long tables you lay on, and they wrap a belt around your mid, and then one kind of below that, but still above the pelvis bone, and then it's got an electronic device that pulls, and they can nowadays they can determine how much pressure they're going to do and stuff, and it pulls, and then and again. They use it. It's this type of motion, which is the same type of motion you're talking about using by just rocking forward and back, and that's a great component. That the older home traction units, they had them. You could buy them, but they were difficult to set up.
Yeah.
You had to have the right type of equipment, and they didn't work nearly as good as that. So that's a heck of a thing.
Yeah.
I want to thank you for being with me.
Well, I have enjoyed it
Yeah.
immensely.
You're a good sport, Don. But I guess after all those years
Should
of
we
midget
tell them
racing-
about the Eskimos?
Well, go ahead.
What do the Eskimos hold their houses together with? They use igloo.
And on that note, I'll see
We're
you
done.
when we come back. Thanks, Don.